Hey guys, welcome back to my second Halloween video for 2017. First of all, I want to say sorry I didn't film like a cool, fun intro with me wearing this makeup because I actually really liked the way that it looked in the end, but I forgot to film my intro and outro while I was wearing the makeup. The second thing that I want to mention before we get into talking about the video is that I want you guys to ask me some of your questions, particularly if they're related to like Halloween or Inktober or like special effects makeup. Any questions that you have related to that, leave me a comment down below because I'm going to be answering those in my third and final Halloween makeup look. So I just want to get that out of the way before we talk about this video in particular. Now, right now I'm kind of just doing my base makeup as I normally would. If you guys have questions about that, like I said, leave them down below and I can give you some more details. But this is pretty much just like my regular foundation and concealer powder routine. I am going a little bit heavier on the contouring as I do normally when it comes to Halloween looks, just because I want my cheeks to look sharper and more sunken in. Basically, I want to look like more dead and villainous. Also, let me know if you like this video format better. I feel like a lot of you guys wanted to see the makeup details a little bit more. And the art is sort of something that you've seen before. It's nothing new, so I decided to put that on a smaller screen, although there is a portion of the video coming up where they will be flip-flopped, so you will see a little bit more of the art details, and then the makeup part, you know, it's not really a super interesting part of the makeup tutorial, so yeah, I just decided to swap that so you can see the art up a little bit closer. Now, if you haven't figured it out yet, I'm doing a mummy look / illustration for today's video. And pretty much, like I said, I tried to make my skin look sort of sunken in so that I looked kind of more dead and decaying. And then I sort of went in with some red and purple tones and sort of added these sort of bruised effects on my face and under my eyes to make my eyes look like irritated. Basically, I'm using my Morphe 35C palette, which is my favorite palette for Halloween makeup tutorials, and I am just trying to make myself, you know, look gross. I'm doing a very messy, sort of sloppy, smoky eye by just adding some dark browns and blacks on my eyelid and just sort of making my eyes look sunken in even more, and then buffing that out so that there's no harsh lines. Obviously, this isn't really like a clean, crisp look, so a little bit of messiness can actually really add to the look here, but you also don't want just like random smudges. So I blend out especially like my eye area because I want that to look like a main focal point. I filled in my brows with a little bit of powder and then went in with some brow gel to sort of move them upwards so that they look a little bit less structured. That's a really good effect for a lot of Halloween makeup looks too, and it can actually make a really big difference because brows have a huge impact on the face. And having sort of messy, unkempt brows can create a really cool look. I'm adding some red eyeliner to my waterline as well. This is really just because it makes your eyes look irritated. Now I'm going into some liquid latex. This is something I haven't used yet. So this, I mean, I've used it in previous tutorials, but I haven't used it so far this year. And I'm just kind of going in with a sponge and stamping this on certain areas of the face. And then I'm layering some cotton over that from a cotton ball, and then going over it again with some more liquid latex. This is going to create the look of decaying skin. Yum, right? And this is just sort of like me building it up, and you kind of have to wait for it to dry. And then what I do usually is I picket it to get it to look like it's peeling away. And you can do this with your fingers, or you can do it with a pair of tweezers. If you do it with tweezers, please, for the love of God, just be careful because you can pinch your skin and hurt yourself. So just be careful. I wouldn't use a pair of really sharp tweezers. I would use like the ones that you can use to apply false eyelashes or something like that. And I am powdering this makeup, this liquid latex, to make it sort of less sticky and less shiny. And then I'm kind of touching up the color of it to sort of better match my face. It does look a little bit yellow, but honestly that kind of just adds to the effect. And I have sort of this cream paint palette that I use a lot of the times when I do this step. And I got this at Spirit Halloween forever ago, but I use it a lot for Halloween makeup looks, and I'm using that to sort of like fill in the gaps that I created by pulling apart the liquid latex, and that sort of makes it look like an open wound, and that really gives a really cool effect, especially if you're trying to look like a zombie or like a mummy. In this case, it's a really easy way to do that. However, I do quickly want to mention that if you don't have any SFX makeup on hand, you can easily recreate this kind of look with some dark red lipsticks and just some dark red, burgundy, and brown eyeshadows. That would be a super easy way to recreate this look on a budget or using products that you likely already have. This entire look could definitely be done with just makeup. Now, I kind of want to talk about the artwork for a minute, so the format of the video is going to switch here in just a second so that I can talk about the piece, because, you know, I'm an art channel, so I want to keep true to what I do. First of all, I want to mention that I'm really proud of the line art of this piece. Since being involved with Inktober, I've really sort of fallen in love with line art again. So I really took my time with this piece to do the line art. I actually did the line art first, and I added lots of little lines, and I love the detail that it sort of adds, and I also love the expression of the character. I feel like I kind of captured this scary, sort of empty facial expression that I really like a lot, and I feel like I did a better job matching the illustration to the makeup look in this video than I did the first time around. So I'm proud of myself for that, and I had a lot of fun coloring this. Obviously the colors are pretty simple, they're all muted, kind of cool tones to give the character that dead look. The theme of the video is just very dead. Think dead, you know, like that's what I was going for. And just to quickly go back to talking about the makeup for just a second, I'm currently wrapping myself in gauze, and I sort of give myself like an 80s gauze headband, and I wrap a little bit around my neck and sort of pull that up on my chin later on. And I got this gauze from the dollar store. It doesn't come with a lot, but it's honestly the perfect amount of gauze that you would need if you're going to just do like a very basic mummy look, and you can do this on a budget. And then I also got this sort of creepy cloth, I think they called it, and it's also from the dollar store, and it's just sort of this off-colored creamy white, like very loose knit. It looks like gauze, but it's not obviously effective as gauze, but it's basically a Halloween decoration, and I use this to sort of tie around my body and use that as like the major part of the costume. So this would be really easy to do if you just had like a plain brown or white dress that you wanted to turn into like your mummy look. You could just like throw some gauze like from the dollar store on there and then wrap your head with some gauze and you're good to go. Like it's a super easy, affordable Halloween makeup look. And I do change my top in just a moment as well, so I can sort of better wrap the gauze around and it doesn't look so weird with like my just normal JCPenney top, you know? And for the artwork, just before we quickly go back to the makeup, I'm sort of creating a background that looks like she's buried. So I use this like with some dark browns, and it's a very simple background. I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible with these illustrations, just for time constraint reasons. And so it was a really simple piece overall, but I'm happy with the overall look. And you will see some detailed shots of this at the end of the video. Now, the step I'm doing now with the makeup is entirely optional. I'm adding false eyelashes to the look just because whenever I do like really heavy dramatic eye makeup, I just tend to feel like it makes my eyes look really small, and I didn't want to do that in this case, so adding the false lashes just kind of helps open up my eyes. Another thing I would recommend doing for the makeup look though is kind of just going around like your nail beds with some red or purple eyeshadow just to make them look more irritated. I also did this with the gauze where I sort of went over it with eyeshadow to discolor it a little bit, make it look more aged. Just because when you do get it right out of the package, it's very stark white. That's not what I was going for. And I am just sort of adding like further shading and dimension to my skin. I'm adding like some more bruising on the body. Bruises are super easy to create, by the way, with eyeshadow, especially if they look kind of like older aged bruises. It's super easy. And the last step that I'm doing is I'm muting out my lip color. I'm going over it with some concealer and like a very, very, very pale lipstick, and I'm making it very matte so that my lips just look very dead. And I'm, you know, increasing the eye bags a little bit as well. And pretty much, if you want to know how I got this perfect mummy, you know, sleeping in the grave hair, I basically didn't wash it for a couple days and then just teased the crap out of it with a hairbrush. And that's it. That is my second Halloween makeup look. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you like it. Here's also a closer look at the illustration. It was a lot of fun to do. And let me know down below what you guys plan on dressing up as for Halloween, or if you plan on dressing up at all. But without further ado, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.